Okay, so the Jeffersons started in 1975. It went from 1975 to 1985. The show lasted 11 seasons, 11 years. One of the longest running African American sitcoms of all time. Besides, for decades, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, up until The House of Pain came out, which grossed a little bit more episodes than the Jeffersons. But still, like I still say, the Jeffersons is one of the highest running programs with over 50 episodes. That's a lot of episodes for a sitcom. Also, Sherman Hemsley and the dark skinned woman who played Wheezy were different age gap. The woman was 20 years older than him. Sherman Hemsley was in his late 30s. He was 37, and the woman was in her early 50s. So there was a huge age gap. Also, they also put on makeup to make Sherman Hemsley, who played George Jefferson, look older than what he was. He was balding in the head. He was like receding hairline, balding. The show was entertaining, very good. A lot of people, even white people, love the show. You know, you would think that, okay, most people don't like dealing with racist shows like this. This is one of the most racist shows you ever meet, because you hear the H word, the N word. There's a lot of episodes dealt with racism. It dealt about all kinds of weird stuff. It dealt about sexism and all. It dealt with different topics that most people will not talk about today, because right now in this day and age, everybody's so scared about talking about stuff, controversy. The show was controversy. First, it was also All in the Family started off, and then you had it was All in the Family, a white family, and then you had the Jeffersons, who were friends of Archie and his wife Edith, and they would guest star on the show. Then they decided to make a spinoff called The Jeffersons, who was making a show because actually Archie and Edith were friends with Lionel, who was a young black kid, and they were friends with him, and stuff like that. He was friends with their daughter. They didn't like it, Elizabeth. They had a white daughter, black guy, white daughter. I don't know if they were dating, but they made a spinoff, The Jeffersons. Also, Archie didn't like George. They always argued with each other. They were both racist. You bring two racist guys together, they're not going to like each other, because Archie's racist, George Jefferson's a racist. They're not you can't bring two racist people together and expect them to like each other. You know, they both had their own different point of views. But the Jeffersons, both shows were racist. I'm going to be honest with you, prejudice. You know, All in the Family was racist. People still like the show. Even black people watch the show. Edith was not racist. She was a loving young woman. It was just Archie who was prejudiced because he grew up during racism. You know, that his parents instilled in him. He grew up around racism. His wife, Edith, was not racist. She loved black people. But anyway, they made a spinoff. George Jefferson is a multimillionaire. He's successful. He's rich. He has his own business. He owns 7 or 8 cleaning businesses, dry cleaning businesses. He's successful. His son's successful. His wife is successful. And they're all doing pretty good. They have a black maid, Florence, the sassy black addict. You know, see how they portray black women in TV shows? She's a maid, and she's sassy. She doesn't like George Jefferson. You know, and you would think, hey, one thing I did like about the Jeffersons, they didn't get a dark-skinned black guy to play George. I was surprised. Like, what? They got a light-skinned guy to play George Jefferson. You know, I said, he's very light. You know, I didn't think a light-skinned guy could play it off. I think even the white producers probably didn't think, okay, a light-skinned guy can't play this character. The character's supposed to be an angry, aggressive black guy. He's a light-skinned, very high yellow. You know, if it weren't for his afro, he probably looked mixed. But apparently, Sherman Hemsley was very high yellow. He's full black. He's just light skinned, just light skinned black guy. Had an afro and a little thick mustache. But boy, he had a mouth on him. Short too, 5'6". Just a little black guy with a big mouth. His wife was taller than him. Wasn't Wheezy taller than him on the show? But the show was good. It lasted 11 years. Actually, Jaleel White, who played Steve Urkel on Family Matters, guest starred on The Jeffersons. Also, Shamley Hemsley would soon guest star on Sister Sister on a couple episodes in the 90s. Tia Tamara Mare, two light-skinned girls from the Sister Sister show. You guys remember that show. He guest starred on that show. He also guest starred in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in a few episodes. P.S. I Love You, when Will Smith was taking advantage of a girl at school. He was using her for her money and gifts. She was bribing him with stuff just to go on a date with her. So yeah, he guest starred on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So he guest starred on a couple of TV shows. He never guest starred on the Cosby Show. I will tell you why in my next video. But because they don't want a sassy black guy on a TV show. If they would have had Sherman Hemsley on the Cosby Show, the show would have been canceled. There's no way. I mean, not with his attitude, his personality, this show would have been canceled. There's no way. Let's bring on Pam, the ghetto black girl, but we can't have him. He might say something racist. But anyway, the Jeffersons was cool. They actually had different Lionels on the Jeffersons. The show lasted 11 seasons. You can buy the complete series on DVD if you want. I have the complete series on DVD. I used to watch it on TV Land. I used to watch it on Nick at Night back in the late 90s. Hey, I've been living a long time. I'm 30 years old. I used to watch it back in the late 90s, 98, 99, 2000, when it was on Nick at Night. The show was edited. They had to edit it. So much of the show on Nick at Night was edited. It's crazy. And I still have a lot of episodes that I recorded from Nick at Night to prove that. And I might even upload some episodes later on that I recorded from 1999, 98. I'm a collector. I have thousands of TV shows, movies that I recorded from the 90s, 2000s, thousands of them. So, yes. Okay, anyway, the show was good. Florence and George did not like each other. You know, I don't know if it was a fetish. I don't know if George Jefferson secretly had a crush on Florence. You know, I don't know if they were sleeping together. I'm just playing around. I'm not saying that bad. But the show was good. There were episodes when George was nice to Florence. Florence was lonely. She didn't have anybody. She didn't have much of a personal life. But you know, she was basically just the typical sassy black woman who was nice to Wheezy but didn't like George, and he was always mean to her. You know, he was kind of like the stuck-up little rich black guy. But anyway, the show was